Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I do a lot of fertilization, weed control, tall fescue, bluegrass. I got Bermuda at the shop, landscape projects around the house. Kind of anything that has to do with yard work, I do it. I've owned a lawn care company for almost 20 years, and it's what I do. It's my passion. I love it. I love getting in the dirt, getting my hands dirty, except today it's kind of wet and muddy, so I wore gloves so I didn't get too dirty. But I got a little project going on out here. My kids are getting older. Got one driving now, and got another one is going to be driving here pretty soon. So I'm out of space in my driveway. I need to make my driveway wider. So as part of that, I had to move some landscape over, and this crepe myrtle was in the mix. This is a patio crepe myrtle. I'm not real sure I can get another one, so I wanted to transplant it and save it because it matches the one on the other side so good. Moving a tree is really easy. Now, here's a little disclaimer. The bigger the tree, the bigger the equipment. This one's decent size, so I use shovel and I use my Ventrac. I had to use them both. It would almost be impossible for me to move this by myself with nothing but a shovel. So keep that in mind. If you're going to be moving a tree that has any size to it, you may want to plan that out as far as maybe renting some equipment or contracting it out to a lawn care company or whatever. So the biggest thing with this is symmetry. You know, I'm crazy anal about if I got two over here, I got to have two over here. If these two were 8 inches apart, these two got to be 8 inches apart, and so on. You kind of get what I'm saying. I'm not the randomized throw whatever, wherever kind of guy. I like order in my landscape and things to look a certain way. So before I started all this, I actually had some irrigation that I had to relocate as well. So I dug all that up, got the pipes laid out. I don't have the pipe to reinstall the irrigation, so I'll have that tomorrow and do that tomorrow. So back to the symmetry, it's really important that you measure. I took a lot of measurements so I know exactly where each plant was in relation to the current driveway. Because when the driveway comes out, it's going to have the exact same line or the exact same outside edge shape as it does now. It kind of comes out straight and kind of tapers in just a little bit and then flares out at the road. And when it gets over here 14 foot wider, it's going to look identical. So I took some detailed measurements and marked off where my new driveway line is going to be, marked off where the existing crepe myrtle is in relation to the current driveway line, and this is where I landed. So when a new addition to the driveway is completed, this crepe myrtle is going to be 104 inches from it that way, and then it's the same 12 foot from the road out there. So that's how I get the measurement done. That way it's placed exactly where it needs to be in relation to the driveway where it used to be. Now here's where I see folks mess up, okay? They try to wait too late into the spring when the tree is budded out and got leaves on it, or they wait in the middle of the summer when it's hot and dry. You know, everybody's got their own way of doing things, but I have found that when the tree is dormant, meaning when there's no leaves on the tree is asleep, it's not alive and actively, vigorously growing. I'm right outside of Greensboro, North Carolina, and right now it's February 6th, so we're technically still kind of winter time. This crepe myrtle won't leaf out until maybe mid to late April, maybe May, sometime in that time frame. And by then, these roots will have had a gracious amount of time to start digging and rooting and start doing all the things that the tree does to bring it back to life. So can't stress that enough. The timing is really important. And after that, it's as simple as digging the tree up, whether it be with a shovel, whether it be with a piece of equipment, whatever. You have to dig the tree up. Now you want to bring out a good amount of root ball with the tree. And you can see as I was digging around this, I was actually taking my hand and just gently working the trunk of the tree back and forth, helping to break loose some of those roots. And then once it breaks loose, the tree's free, you can move it around. Of course, root ball is a little too heavy for me to pick up, so I used my Ventrac and was able to move it pretty easily that way. Now this goes back to the measurements. You want to make sure your measurements are really, really good, because I had to measure where the new hole is going, and it has to be accurate. Typically I like to make the hole quite a bit bigger than the actual root ball. That way loose material goes back in the void areas of the hole. That way when the roots start growing in the spring, they don't have anything obstructing it like rock hard clay, which is what we have predominantly in my area. Now once I get the tree set back in the hole, I want to backfill that hole with loose ground. And in this case, the way the root ball came out, I actually had to tuck some dirt up under the root ball to fill in any void areas. The last thing you want is to have void, hollow areas when you're backfilling that do not have dirt in them. The reason for that is when it rains heavily, that water can soak and penetrate in the ground and hold in those void areas. You don't want that water sitting that close to the root zone. Yes, the tree needs water, but we don't want to drown it. So make sure all the space in the hole is backfilled with dirt. Now once you get it backfilled and you tamp it down a little bit, you want to eyeball it and make sure the trunk of the tree is level. And what I mean by that is you don't want it tilting left to right either way. In this case, this crepe myrtle has a little slight bend in the trunk, so I have to kind of take that into consideration. But once you look at it from several angles, from all different directions, you can get it straightened out pretty good. Now, if you noticed when I planted this, the root ball was actually about 6 inches higher than my ground level. Well, the reason for that is I haven't built this bed up yet, so I have to take that in consideration. I have to make sure that my finished grade is going to be here. If I would have planted this down deep enough to where it's level with the subgrade, then once I do my finished grade, my tree's going to be buried too deep. So that's something you can either measure it, or I've been doing this so long that I can just kind of eyeball it and see where it's at. And then now once I've got this dirt built up around it and I can see how the ground goes out to the edge of my grass, I'm confident that I got this tree planted at the right depth. As far as water and fertilizer goes, right now the ground is incredibly moist. We've had 3 snows, we've had quite a bit of rain. It's cool, so the ground, well, it's cold, so the ground's not really going to dry out any right now. So the tree has plenty of water in the ground already. As far as fertilizer, I won't put nothing down right now. Yeah, the roots could probably take some of it in, but it's not going to do any good right now. I'll give it about a month when I start getting a few 65 and 70 degree days. Things start warming up and the grass starts popping to life, and you see a few little buds here and there on trees. Maybe when Bradford pears start budding, that would probably be a good indicator. Then I'll come out here and hit it with a little flora green, and that's going to bring it to life. Now, when we get into this coming summer, I will watch this tree very closely, okay? Even though I'm transplanting it in the cooler part of the year and it's got time to root and take off, this tree could stress out a little bit more than normal this coming summer. So I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it and water as needed. So hey, there you go. Got this tree moved. I got one more Japanese maple over there that I'm absolutely dreading having to move it, but it's got to go because I just don't want it that close to the new driveway. So I'm gonna move it. Still trying to figure out where I'm gonna put it because I don't want to get rid of it. It's a gorgeous tree. I want it planted somewhere here, but I just haven't made my mind up where I'm gonna stick it at. So I'll sleep on it tonight and figure that out. Now we're supposed to get rain and snow mixed tomorrow, so I got 2 really big tarps. So I'm gonna come out here and tarp this area just so it doesn't get soupy wet. Reason for that is later this week on Thursday, the concrete guys are coming to start. So tomorrow's rain and snow, and then the rest of the week we're in the high 50s, low 60s. So by the end of the week, this will dry out just a little bit for the concrete guys so they can do their thing. So as always, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to watch. I'll check you later.